All right, so this is the best angle I could get. I tried, but I'm not very good at this, so you guys are gonna bear with me. One, I apologize for my kids downstairs. This is the quietest I can get them, so I'm going with it. These are each of the piles. I'll go through them, but first say that I kind of already went through them, wrote some notes, so I kind of know what to say. So if you see me going through this paper, that's why. I'm gonna do the Celtic cross, which is kind of one of the basic, what's that thing called? I can't think of. A spread, there we go. One of the basic spreads for cards. So you can either think of a question or it can be general advice, whatever you want. At the end, you can think of a yes or no question, and I'm going to use this for my pendulum. And I am going to see if it says yes or no and let you guys know. But let me go through each of these piles. The first one, pile 1, is the Thorn. Kind of looks like a little flag. That is my dog. Pile 2 is Humanity. Looks like kind of 2 flags. They all kind of look like flags now in my head. Okay, and the third one is Joy. Fourth one is Ice. I promise you they are alive even though they're yelling. And the fifth is Dawn. Just pick whatever pile resonates with you and I will go through each one at a time. Okay, this is like attempt number 25. So if you picked this pile, which is the Thorn, this is your reading. So your problem, which sounds like a weird problem to have, well, it's not that bad of a problem to have, but it's saying that you are at the 9 of Pentacles, which is almost completion of everything. You have all the materialistic things that you have ever wanted. You know, you're independent, you're self-sufficient, you have all the money. That is not your issue. Your issue is that you don't really have true friendship or true companionship. So this could either be that, you know, you are looking for a relationship, whether it be a physical one or a mental one, be male, female, whatever. It's you just don't have that. And that is what your problem is at the moment, is you have everything except for that companionship, someone to share it with. Number 2 is going to be your challenge, or what's kind of standing in your way, which I got the 6 of Pentacles. And this card, this doesn't really have a good picture of it, so I'm not going to show you it. It's a weird shape. I like the card, but it's not a very good picture. Well, clarity wise, it does have the picture on it. It's about a beggar and a receiver. So somebody is either receiving or giving stuff. And when I see this card kind of sideways, especially with the card behind it, I'm getting the feeling that you are very good at giving to people, but you are not very good at receiving. You are not someone to ask for help. You might be a bit prideful when it comes to asking for help. You don't like to have your emotions leaning on somebody else, which is kind of the reason why you've had issues getting that companionship that you want. You're not the greatest at leaning on people. The next one is going to be things from your past that may have, it's kind of shaping your future, getting in your way. And it is the 8 of Pentacles, which means you are a very hard worker. You are determined. You kind of are very focused on work your whole life. You may have been focused more on getting material values, getting a good job, getting all the stuff you want, and you never really focused on relationships. So you kind of need to get away from that, if that makes any sense. Those are my dogs. I apologize. The next one is 4, which is kind of what's on your mind. And you're kind of feeling out of touch. And you feel like you've noticed now that you are more obsessed with work, which a lot of this is about work in general. It's kind of about work and relationships, but it's more like work is in your way. And you have noticed now that you are having this obsession with work. And I think you're trying to focus on it and get rid of it, but it's easier said than done. The next card is going to be Temperance in reverse, which is, I don't know where I put that. What? I have it on the other page. I'm sorry. Oh, this is where I messed it up. I'm sorry. When I was doing it at first, I kind of confused where I put the spread. But Temperance in reverse is going to be what will happen if nothing changes. So if you are not able to ask for help, you are kind of going to lead into a path of turbulence and issues, and you're going to have no sense of purpose. And you kind of need to be careful of what needs to change, because you need to make a plan to figure out what you need to do. And if you don't, then you're kind of going to get depressed, to put it that way. You're just going to feel no determination whatsoever. You're going to have what you need, but you're not going to feel what you need, I don't know if that makes sense, but in my head it did. So This one, which is supposed to be 6, but I kind of mixed it around, but whatever, is what drives this? So what's kind of pushing you in this direction, or what's driving your motivation in general? It is the 7 of Cups. And it sounds weird, but even though you want companionship, you're still driven by financial gain. You are very obsessed with making money. And in this substance, this is all kind of about money. It's some about relationships, but in which I'm really used to reading. But this card, this spread in general, is just giving me money. And I'm sorry for all my hand movement. It's just how I talk. I'm not Italian. That's probably not something I should say, but it's fine. Just remember to keep your eyes open for options, and also kind of trust your instincts and look for red flags, because even when it comes to money, there are red flags where people are trying to take your money, people who are not really there for you work-wise. So just be careful is what that card is kind of warning you. Number 7 is kind of how you feel about everything. And it's the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, which, again, you were worried about your financial status. You were worried about placing too much stuff and only having short-term success. You were worried that you're just really, really worried about money. It's very weird, especially with like the 9 of Pentacles being your first card, because you have money, but you're very worried about keeping that money. This worry may have actually affected your situation or relationship. If you were married or are married, I feel like it's kind of causing issues in your marriage in general. It's causing a lot of problems. So you kind of need to stop worrying so much about money, because like this shows that you're going to get money, but you just keep kind of worrying about it, and you have it. So it just makes no sense to me. But again, I shouldn't be judging. So the next card is 8, which is the 6 of Swords in reversed. It's kind of what's driving you inside, if that makes any sense. Oh no, I mean not inside, outside. So these are outside things that are affecting you. You're trying to move on from all the challenges in your life, but you kind of feel like you're being forced into a situation. So you might be forced into something, I don't know what it is, but you're being forced into something that may be making you feel slightly more insecure about money, which I feel like just reverts back to how hard you've tried to get all this money. And now you're afraid that whatever situation this is, it might take your money away. But I really don't think it's going to, but just keep focusing on it. So it is what it is. Number 9 is your fears and hopes. So you got 3 of Cups in reversed. If it was forward, that would be a great card because it's about celebration. But backwards, it's like you were very worried that you have no time for friends, that you don't have balance in your life, in your inner circle. So if you are married, your marriage is not balanced, again, because of financial situations. Your friendships are not balanced. You're working too much. You're not paying attention to actually loving life. I don't know if that makes sense, but in my head, it did. I keep saying that, and it's going to drive me crazy, so I apologize. The last card is the 10 of Cups. This is your outcome, especially if you don't change your obsession with money. You're going to be let down. You're going to be sad. You're going to have a lot of depression is what this card kind of reminds me of. You're looking more, I don't know if you guys can see this card because it kind of explains. You can see the person, they're looking more at the cards that are, the cups that are empty rather than the cups behind them that are not. They're supposed to be full, but you can't really tell that they're full. But they're looking more at what they've knocked down and ruined rather than what they have. And if you keep the way that you're going, you're going to be dwelling on the past and you're not going to look at all the stuff that you do have. I hope this helps, but in general, my advice would be to stop focusing so much on money. I know that is what everybody is worried about. It makes the world go round, but you kind of need to stop worrying so much about money. Now, the last one is think of a yes or no question. This way is going to be yes. This way is going to be no. If it goes any other way, it's either unsure or maybe. So I will let you know what it says. So think of whatever question I'm gonna let it kind of go for a few seconds, and then I will let you know what the answer is. So whatever you're thinking, the answer is yes. I can't really say whatever it is, but it is a positive yes. It did not change, did not swing, did not debate on what it wanted. So yeah, that is the reading. I apologize if I talked fast. This is my first attempt at this, so give me all the feedback if possible, because it'll help me in the future. I'm trying to figure out a better layout, but this is what I got. Thank you for watching. Okay, so if you pick pile number 2, the humanity card, this is your reading. I'll start by saying 1, this looks like it's 2 of the same thing. Then you pick the number 2, but also there are 2 of a lot of cards in here. You have 2 lovers, 2 temperance, 2 8 of swords. So I feel like 2 might be your number. If you see 2 a lot, it's kind of your sign. So this is the Celtic cross. It's usually like a cross and then some cards on the side, but I'll start with the root of the matter, which is the 6 of Pentacles. You can kind of see it. It's in reversed in the thing that I put, but this is what it looks like, and you can kind of see it's a man giving somebody money. And this is kind of saying when it's reversed, you are usually the person who's receiving the money. So you be careful, kind of, you might be in debt, or be careful who you loan your money to if you are the one giving money. But also kind of be careful of your motives of why you're giving people either money, and I keep saying money because Pentacles is very much materialistic things, but this can also be your emotion, your time, anything valuable to you. Just kind of look to see why you're giving that to the people, but also who's giving it to you, if that makes any sense. Number 2 is what kind of needs to be resolved, and this is the Ace of Pentacles. If this was upright, it'd be kind of confusing because upright means there's opportunities for you. It's good things, new beginnings. But since it's kind of sideways, which is how it's supposed to be in the cross, I take this more as you are not starting. You have opportunities, you want opportunities, but you're not putting yourself out there to get those opportunities. You know, if you want something, there's no way it's just going to come to your front door. You need to push yourself, and this is what's kind of keeping you stuck. You are afraid to start yourself into those opportunities. So just kind of push yourself forward and throw yourself out there, if that makes any sense. The 8 of Swords in reverse is the past that's affecting this. And it's kind of weird because it's affecting your future, but you had a lot of low self-confidence in the past. You didn't really have, you didn't accept yourself is what I'm trying to say. Sorry. You just didn't accept who you were, but now you're accepting yourself. You're learning to love yourself. You know who you are. You do have that in you. So I don't know what's stopping you, but you are learning, or you have learned to self-accept, to love yourself. And I think the next card will kind of explain. It's the same card, actually. It's the 8 of Swords, but it's now upright. And when it's upright, you're kind of in your own head, if I'm being honest. And this is where you're at mentally. You are kind of self-victimizing. Don't mean that in a mean way. Don't know how else to say it without being rude. I don't think that's rude, but I wish this card, you could see it better. This one, it's not the same normal picture, but in the picture, there's a woman. I don't know if you guys can see it, but she's kind of wrapped up, and then there's swords around her, and it's like she could get out of that easily, but she's not. It doesn't look, she feels like she's trapped, even though whoever did it didn't do it very well. So she could easily break out, and it's mostly in her head. You may feel like you have no control of some situation, or even if it's that money situation or whatever, you might feel like you don't have the control. But again, it is in your head and you do have that control. You just need to push yourself. Just go back to the Ace of Pentacles, but you really need to push yourself. Number 5, which is this one, it is the Queen of Cups in reverse, which is what will happen if you don't change. If you keep going the way that you are, you're going to bottle up all these emotions you have. And it's a lot of emotions, especially when it comes to cups. Cups are very emotional. If you know anything about astrology, it's a lot about water, which water signs are very emotional, but you're a very, very emotional person. And your emotions are kind of going to take control of yourself if you don't. I don't know which way, sometimes, especially when it comes to water signs, it could be, your control is you're going to be really depressed, or it could be that you show it through anger. Everyone kind of shows their emotions differently, but you know, just kind of learn to kind of ask for help too, because sometimes that's the issue with the Six of Pentacles. But just go for those opportunities because you have them and you're afraid and you need to. If you're thinking of an idea to start it, just start it, is what this is really telling you. Number 6 is how your unconscious mind is, like what's driving you, which is the Four of Pentacles, which you've accomplished a lot of your goals, but you're still somehow insecure. You're very insecure about it. Like, you have accomplished a lot, but you don't see it, I want to say. It's like, you know, you have everything you want, but for some reason you don't. I don't know how to explain. You just don't see what you've done. And it can also mean if you have money, to try not to be greedy with it, because sometimes people with Four of Pentacles, they can be kind of greedy. I don't know if you can see this card. This is not the stereotypical one, but it's very cute. And if you see, it's like the snake kind of travel, like he's intertwined with it, so he's kind of holding all the money. So just try not to be greedy. And this could be not about money. It could be about your emotions. You could be just keeping, you know, you might love somebody, but you're afraid to tell them and you're keeping that inside, which is going to cause issues in the end. So just kind of be more open. Number 7 is the Lovers, which this is your view on things. And you might be in between two decisions, which maybe this is what a lot of this is about. And you know that you need to make up your mind. But the only hint I could kind of give you is, even though the Lovers are about, you know, you can take that as a relationship if you want to, but this does not have to be a relationship reading. But when you are making up your mind, just make sure that this is true to yourself, that it's showing self-love, because it's about self-love, even though I know the Lovers is typically about two people, but it's a lot about self-love. So just make sure that you're being true to yourself when you make this decision, whatever it is, be who you are. Number 8, again, is also the Lovers. This is your environment, though. And the way that I'm seeing this is, I forget the name of this angel. I don't remember, but I know this card is very much a Gemini card, which is an air sign, and air is usually communication. And your environment is, you're not communicating very well. So again, goes back to your emotions. You're keeping them inside. You need to say how you feel, what you want. It'll help you kind of get through all of this. That is like your only way out. You need to learn to communicate better. Number 9 is Temperance, which it's your fears and your hopes, and you are hoping to grow. You are hoping to have a steady material growth. So you don't want to be a millionaire. You don't want all the money in the world, but you want enough, if that makes any sense. And you're hoping for that. I think that your fear is that you won't live in moderation, that you'll kind of excessively spend, which I don't think will be your issue, but that is a fear that you do have, that you are afraid to spend excessively. But this card is a reminder you will get what you want, but you have to be a little patient for it. So just kind of wait. Outcome, again, Temperance. And in this instance, I want to say it's about balancing the material world and your subconscious. So when she's on the land and on the water, or he, the angel, they're balancing both. Water is emotion, land is more stable, more materialistic things, and you're trying to balance your heart with what you need in life. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it is harmony. You will get there. You just need to learn to be patient. And then the next one is, think of a yes or no question. So this way is yes, and this way is no. Oops. Now you guys will let you know. I'll give it a few minutes to kind of figure out what it wants. So whatever you were asking, the answer is no. Okay. I give up on trying to do this video. I think the next interruption, I'm just going to keep it. And you guys are going to hear me having a whole conversation with my kids, because I keep redoing this and I don't know how to like pause it and then re-edit it to like be cohesive. So I just keep deleting it and restarting it. Pile 3 is joy. If you picked this pile, this reading is for you. Your first card is the 7 of Pentacles, but it was in reverse. So I don't know if you can see, but it's a guy. He's really hardworking. He's doing his thing. Usually it's someone who's successful at what they're doing, but when it's in reverse, it's like you're working so hard, but you're not seeing a reward for it. You're not seeing the gain or what you want out of it. And that can be extremely frustrating. Sometimes the advice is just to reevaluate your choices, kind of think about what you're doing. But this is what your issue right now is that you're working so hard, you're not seeing the outcome you want. Your challenge is the devil. The devil can mean addiction, but I don't see it as an addiction in this reading. I don't know. I don't sense that people are addicted to anything, because you could be addicted to anything, but I don't feel like this is addiction. I feel like it's more, you kind of feel empty and you feel not fulfilled. You feel like your lifestyle might be leading you into a destructive path, but I don't really think it's an addiction lifestyle. I just think that like your choices are not aligned with what you want, and that's how you feel, and you're trying to fix that, but you're just not feeling very fulfilled, which really goes with the card in the back too, because you're working hard, but you're not fulfilled by what you're doing. Number 3 is things in the past that are affecting this whole spread in general. And I got the Knight of Wands, and I'm seeing this more as a person. So I see this someone in your past. It could be you, but I don't really think it's you specifically. It's someone who's very in love with the idea of love. They love to be in relationships. They're always in a relationship. They're probably someone who kind of goes from one relationship to another rather than finding time for themselves, which I don't sense that's who this person is, especially with these 2 cards, but and all these other cards actually. But they're very obsessed with the idea of love, and sometimes this card can give you advice to just tell you you need to listen to your heart, sometimes over logic. But someone in your past is kind of what's affecting your presence at the moment. Number 4, I'm at 4, right? I can't remember where I'm at. 4 is your conscious, kind of how you feel inside, which is the 6 of Cups, and you're still in the process of healing. I feel like I need to show you guys this, and I don't know why. It's because the card is beautiful, but you're still in the process of healing. You're kind of learning who you are, but it can also mean that, well, you're healing from the past, not just healing in general, but healing from the past. But it could be a card of nostalgia too. So you're kind of thinking about the past in general, kind of thinking about the happier moments in your childhood. It's a very nostalgic cup. But that's where you are right now, is like you're kind of thinking about the past, but you're also healing from past experiences. Number 5 is where your future lies, which you got Strength, which with everything else is a pretty good card to have. You are building up your confidence, your passion. This is the card that I have, but normally it's a woman, kind of, she's holding a lion's jaw. I want to say she's holding the jaw, but I can't completely remember. But in the card, she's usually holding a lion's jaw, and it's like, you have to have a lot of confidence to be even touching a lion. And that's the confidence that you're going to be having in the future. You're going to learn to be more brave and kind of more sure of yourself. Let me just turn my notes. Number 6 is what is kind of pushing you into all of this. And it is the 5 of Wands in reverse, which is usually, like, if it was forward, it means that there's a lot of conflict. But this is like you're avoiding conflict. You're working through your troubles. And sometimes this means, you're avoiding conflict to the point that it's not good. But I sense that what's driving this is you just don't want issues in your life anymore. You don't want drama. You don't want any of that. You want to heal from all the crap that you've gone through. And that's what's driving all of this for you. It's just for you to get through the past, get through all the drama, and just live a drama-free life. Number 7 is your view on this. And you feel like you're hoping to feel like, you want a new passion. You're trying to find your voice. This kind of card kind of just says, go for what you want. And, if you really want something, to go for it. if this was a different question and a different deck and I got this card, I'd say you're pregnant, but I don't see that in this reading. But this card usually really means pregnancy. It's about new beginnings and stuff like that. And so if you're thinking of starting a new project, no matter how crazy it is, this card is kind of being like, hey, you should start it. It's a good idea. So whatever you have in mind, I would start. Number 8 is oddly the 8 of Swords, which is your environment. And I mean this in the most loving way possible. But the 8 of Swords sometimes is someone who's self-victimizing themselves. They are, I don't know how to explain it. So I don't know if you can see this very well, but this lady, she's kind of wrapped up and there's swords around her. And she feels like there's no way out, but like the wrapping isn't very tight and the swords aren't as close as she thinks. And a lot of the times it's kind of, she's in her own head and she's scaring herself. You kind of feel powerless and you feel like you don't have control of everything, but a lot of this is in your head. And you kind of just have to remember that fate is here and you got this and you're stronger than who you are. But that's what's in your environment right now, is that you're kind of in your own head and you're just worried. And I think you're overthinking everything. Number 9 is your hopes and your fears, which again is the Knight of Wands, which kind of leads back to this one, which is that person. And I think you're worried of repeating that relationship, whether it be friendship or romantic, family, whatever it was. You're really worried of repeating the same patterns where there's unrealistic love expectations, where you're kind of not happy in this specific relationship. And I think a lot of this kind of fears makes you like worried about getting into new relationships too, because you're worried that it's going to be repeated and you don't want that. And then your final outcome is the 10 of Swords. And I mean, it's kind of weird, but it's just saying it cannot get worse than what you've already gone through. You've hit rock bottom. You have done the worst possible. There is nothing else worse to happen, and it's all going to be uphill from here. The next thing is you're going to think of a yes or no question. This way is yes, this way is no. And I'm just going to let it do this for a few seconds, and we will see what the answer is. So the answer is no. This is pile 4. If you picked it, it's ice. Sorry, you couldn't read it for a second. So I picked that. This is your reading. The heart of the matter, you got 6 of Pentacles in reversed. So usually this is it forward. It's about someone giving and receiving things. Usually there's a beggar, someone giving money. When it's upright, usually it's the person who's giving money. This is reversed. So you could be in a lot of debt, to be honest, or you owe money, or you don't have a lot of money. That's kind of what that card can mean. It can also mean that you're being stingy. It doesn't have to be with money. It could be with your emotions. It could be with anything. But those are those 2 main reasons, and I feel like I need to give both, because for some people, it's going to be other ways. For one people, it's going to be the other. But the last meaning is a lot of the times if you are giving money or giving your emotions, whatever, kind of think of why you're doing it, because you might be doing it just to benefit yourself rather than to benefit the person. You're kind of doing it to make yourself feel good, if that makes any sense. The next one is your challenges, which is the 2 of Pentacles. And I don't know if you can see him, but it's a guy who has balancing 2 pentacles in his hand. And it's all about balancing. So when you're juggling things, obviously one thing is going to be higher up than the other. And you're having issues prioritizing things. It's kind of hard for you to be flexible around stuff. And it's really you having a lot of struggle balancing just life and everything all together. There's a lot going on, and it might be a little too much to you. It's just really hard for you to balance, which it's okay. It happens. But that's what your challenge is right now, is you're just trying to balance things. Number 3 is your past, and I got the Page of Wands, which this is him. And stereotypically, if you think of the decks, it's Page, Knight, Queen, King, and it's like Page is the beginner, King is where the person wants to be. And he's starting, he's very childlike, he's just kind of going for it, he's doing what he wants. And although I know this is past, I feel like this card is trying to tell you to go to that past, like you were that person who used to just go for it, and for some reason you're not anymore. And I feel like this card, especially combined with the next card that's coming, because I kind of took notes ahead of time. I feel like they're trying to tell you to go back to your past childlike person. Like, there was something you wanted to do, and you should kind of do it. I don't know what it is, but whatever you wanted to do, you should go for that. So the Six of Cups, which is the next one, is what's on your mind, your conscious mind. And this is, you're clinging on to something in the past, especially a childhood dream. And a lot of times clinging seems like a bad word to use, but I don't know what's bringing me to this conclusion, but I'm sensing more, you should kind of go for that. Whatever that dream was, don't let go of that dream. I feel like you're more focused on money, and you need to stop worrying about that and focus on that dream. Number 5 is the future, and you got death, which a lot of people are afraid of this card. And to be honest, the card I'm mostly afraid of is the Tower. This one does not scare me. This is a natural card. Death is natural, not to be morbid, but it is. But it's about something ending, and things can't begin if something doesn't end. There's no way to start something new if you're not ending something else. Just like everything in life, you know, you end school to start a job, you end being single to become in a relationship. It's just, you know, you end being, I don't know, just things need to end or stop for you to start a new thing. And whatever is going to end, it's going to be drastic, and it might seem like it sucks for a second, but it's going to open a lot of doors for you, is what that card means. So in the future, if you keep trying to pursue your old dreams, you will kind of open up a lot of doors for yourself. What is driving this situation is the King of Cups, which I kind of like. I'm not going to lie. It's somebody who is emotionally balanced. They have a lot of knowledge. They are really aware of who they are, and they're aware of their self. They're aware of their actions. And I think what drives you the most is you kind of want to be that person who fucks up and is like, I did that. I'm sorry. Let me fix it. And not like insincere, like you generally make sure you fix your mess ups. And that is what drives you completely. You don't want to be the person who messes up and says, oh, well, too bad. Like, you want to be able to fix anything you break, I guess, is the best way to say it. And that's what drives you the most. And I feel like that is very endearing, and I like that a lot. Number 7 is the Queen of Swords, which is, your view on all this. So this is the card. Not that it helps much, but that's what it looks like. And I feel like, so the Queen of Swords is someone who comes off emotionless. And I think you feel like people think that you don't have emotions or you don't show your true feelings. But you are a very emotional person, and you care very, very deeply. You care about your actions. You care about other people's feelings, and you feel like you don't come off as that. You feel like you come off very nonchalant. But also, you might be having an issue of being objective without showing your emotions. So sometimes, even though you seem emotionless, your decisions kind of are emotion-based. I don't think people see that, and you notice people don't see that, but they are, and sometimes that can be a struggle for you, and that's how you feel. Your environment is the Hermit in reverse, which I feel like you're kind of keeping to yourself. You might be hiding away, not going to social events, not hanging out with people. The Hermit is very much someone who stays home. But you're being seclusive. You're keeping yourself away from people. You're kind of going inward. And the only thing that worries me about this card is because it's okay to look inward sometimes, but it can lead to a lot of depression. So don't overthink things. Kind of tell people your emotions. Don't keep everything to yourself, because it's going to make you go crazy. There's no other way to say it. Not saying people who are depressed are crazy, because that's not what I'm saying, but it's going to lead to some sort of craziness. So just try not to go inward and be your social self. Go hang out with people, because that is who you are. Your fears are 5 of Cups, and you are kind of worried because you regret your past a lot. I feel like There's a lot of things you could have done differently, and you overthink it, and you regret it a lot. Like, you just regret things that you've done. And I don't know if it's because you didn't do what your childhood dream was, and maybe you should push yourself to do that. But there's a lot in the past that you regret. And I think what you would take from it is that you are kind of recovering, and you are learning that crappy things happen to you for a reason. And I know that's not the nicest thing to say, because I know no one likes to hear that. I personally don't like to hear shitty things happen to you for a reason, because it sounds like bullshit. But you're seeing things that happen to you are kind of leading up to what your life is like. And that kind of gives you hope. I know it sounds weird, but that's what's giving you hope, is that you're seeing reasoning. And then your final outcome is Judgment in reverse. I don't know if you can see her, but I like the Judgment card. I think she's always really pretty. But it is in reverse, which it's, I'm trying to explain it. You're still doubting yourself for some reason. So in the end, regardless of what you do, you're gonna kind of always doubt yourself, which is kind of really crappy. And I don't want you to, because especially with these two cards, the Queen of Swords and the King of Cups, you are a very good person, whoever you are. But Judgment in reverse means that you kind of have a busy routine, and you need to learn to take some time for yourself, because that's what's causing one dog barks, the other one barks, of course. Sorry. But she had to do one more bark. Sorry. But I think that you kind of need to stop judging yourself, even though that's not really what the Judgment card is normally about. But you're kind of judging yourself. And you're being harsh on yourself, and you need to stop that, because you're a good person, and I don't think you see that, but that is what I'm getting at. I don't know if that answers your question much, but the biggest thing that I'm getting is that you are a good person, so if you're worried about that, you need to stop. But also kind of go after your dreams. There's something you want. I don't know what it is, but you should go for it. Regardless of how dumb you think it is, you should just do it. But yeah, that's the end of this one. So I am pretty sure I forgot to do a yes or no question for pile 4. So I apologize that all the cards are gone, but I promised everyone I would do one. So think of a yes or no question and give you a few seconds. And then I'm going to give this a few seconds. So it's going to tell me yes or no. I kind of give it a few minutes to do its own thing. I'm just kind of really adjust it to my hand, and it'll do what it wants. So whatever you are thinking, the answer is no. Okay, so this is my last pile. I'm kind of excited because this took me a lot longer than I thought it would. So I kind of like took notes first because I was afraid I was going to stutter, even though it still kind of did. But I took notes first. So if you were pile 5, this is Dawn. That is what you got. Dawn symbolizes awakening, which I think is kind of a cool card. So if you pick this, I kind of like that. So the first card you got is the heart of all of this, I guess, kind of the root of what you're questioning. And you got the 9 of Cups in reverse. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of hard because of the light, but that's him. I really like this deck. I like all the decks, but I say that about everyone because they're just all uniquely amazing. Anyways, you are very unhappy. You are kind of placing material objects over your quality of life. You're kind of feeling unfulfilled. Like you don't feel like you have everything you want. A lot of the times the 9 represents almost there, but not quite where you want to be. And because it's reversed, I feel like you're just very down on yourself. You're very sad, possibly depressed. It's kind of crappy. It's not a good feeling. That's all I'm saying. But I feel like with the first ruin card or rune, whatever it's called, I don't know how to say it. Anyways, runes, I think. This card, I think a lot will change for you. I'm hoping. Your challenge is the Queen of Pentacles, which she's so pretty. I also love this deck. Just to the back. Like, look at how pretty the back is. I don't know why I whispered that. Queen of Pentacles is someone who's generous, caring person. They have a challenge about misplacing their priorities. They may have difficulty letting go. And I feel like for some reason, I was getting the sense when I saw this card that you're having difficulty letting go of a child. Maybe your kid's going to college or your kid's getting married, but it's at a hard stage for you, which I get. I have children, so. But that's, for some reason, with that card, I was getting the feeling that it's about a kid. Like you're letting go of your child, letting them go somewhere, and it's just kind of hard. And I think that's hard for every parent, obviously, but I think that is where this one is. Number 3 is your past that is affecting you, and you got the Wheel of Fortune in reversed. And it sucks, but the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is a lot of bad luck. So in the past, you've had a lot of bad luck with a lot of things, and this card kind of tries to remind you that even though you had a lot of bad luck, luck is not something in your control. It's shitty to say, but it's reality. You cannot control your luck. It's going to happen either way, but this is your past, so you need to kind of not look at your bad luck as much. I know that's hard, but I feel like looking at your bad luck is going to cause more issues in the end. Just try to let it go a little bit if you can, obviously. Can't tell you what to do with your life. The Emperor is number 4, which is where your mind is. And you are somebody who really likes rules and structure, which is totally fine. But do you want to keep control of things? Which I feel like, again, even with the real Wheel of Fortune, you have to remember luck isn't in your control. This one, for some reason, the Queen, again, is somebody who likes to be in control. The Emperor is someone who likes to be in control. So you're having a hard time not controlling things. And I get it because I have anxiety, but you kind of have to let go of the reins a little bit as much as you can. You are somebody who likes plans. You are a rational person, which is a good thing, but I feel like your desire to control things might I can't even think of a word. Go over your rationality to think, I guess. So your future is the Devil. And if you don't change this, you're kind of going to be a slave to materialism. And if you keep kind of wanting to control everything, this is the Devil card, by the way, which is usually about addiction and all that, especially when it's forward facing. But if you keep kind of controlling things, your life is going to just spiral downhill, and you just kind of have to let go a little bit. That's what these cards are really telling me, is that you need to let go, which I know is hard, but it needs to be done for your own sanity and safety. Number 6 is the King of Swords, which is what's kind of driving you. And you are a very moral and logical person. You strive to be very straightforward and ethical. You're a very straightforward person. You are a good person, and you're very sincere in everything you do. But that is what drives you the most, I think, is that you want to be an extremely ethical person. You always want to do the right thing, which is kind of nice because not everyone's like that. But that's what that one means. And then number 7 is your view, which is the 2 of Pentacles. And you kind of are noticing you're having a lot of issues with adapting. I really, for some reason, I keep thinking that this is like a child going to college. I don't know why that keeps coming to my head, but that's what's coming to my head. And it's really hard for you to let it go and let them do their own thing. And it's kind of going to throw you off balance, I'm not going to lie. And it's just been a struggle. And that your view is just you can't balance everything. So you need to let go of some things. You kind of have to break those rules and lists and structures, as hard as it is. It's going to help you. Number 8 is your environment, which is the 8 of Wands. It's usually, I don't know if you can see this. I always say if you can't see it, but obviously you can if I put it next to it, right? You see like all the wands are kind of going into a circle. Things are going to come to you quickly and fast, and it's going to be good news. So even though whatever is changing is hard for you, you're going to have a lot of good news around you, and I think that's going to help push you forward. And just kind of focus on the good news more than the change. It's going to be hard for you to change. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be hard for you to let go, but just focus on the good stuff. All the good stuff, and that'll help you. Your hopes and fears is the 6 of Swords. And again, you're afraid to leave things. I just stuttered. I'm sorry. You are afraid to leave things behind. You're afraid of change. You're really, really hesitant to let go of things. And this card is kind of your fear of letting go. But also, the only way that you're going to have hope is look into the future. And if you look into the future, you're going to get that strength. And that's where you're going to get your hope. But you're really afraid of letting go of something. I don't know what it is. And the outcome, in the end, you're going to get the Page of Cups. I'll show you it because it's the last card, so why not? This is what it looks like. He's cute. And it's about tackling issues and listening to your intuition and believing in everything is possible. So in the end, you're going to kind of get through this and kind of learn how to look at things differently. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I kind of think you're going to learn to be slightly more chaotic because you're a very structured person and it's going to be good for you. But you just have to learn to believe that everything is possible. And I can't remember. Oh, crap. Anyways, so next one. This is going to be a yes or no question for pile number 4. So just think of a question and then I will let you know if it's yes or no. I kind of give it a few seconds to do its thing, but so whatever question you're thinking of, the answer is yes.